Hello again. This is Garrett, the creator of Zeroshine under Derm Micro. I spent the last 7 years developing Zeroshine. I went through about 12 different variants of it, each time thinking that I'd finally cracked the code. It wasn't until late 2022 that I have the version that I have today, which is why now, since I did a video on it, I've released it for sale online. It's exposed to a much wider audience outside of just my local, SMP clinic. And since then, I've received some feedback from people who have bought it that I think probably had a false expectation of what it was. So I want to address that here and make sure that anyone that's buying it knows what they're getting. So based on some people's feedback, it sounds like they wanted something that would like absorb into the skin or evaporate from the skin and be like a thin lotion type thing. Um, but unfortunately, when it comes to mattifying something, that's just not physically possible for something to be matte and to be completely, absorbed into the skin. This has to sit on the surface. And to help understand that, we have to first understand what makes something shiny in the first place. Since light travels in straight lines, once it bounces off of something, it shoots directly to your eye. That's basically what glare and shine is. So for something to be shiny, it needs to be bouncing off of a flat, dense, smooth surface. Think like glass or shiny, glossy plastic. Another way for things to have that same effect is if they're wet, because wet things are actually really dense. So they have that smooth surface on them and they will also shine. You can take any of these surfaces and you can make them matte, but you have to break them up to where they start refracting, diffusing light in multiple directions. So it's not going straight from that point to your eye. It's instead going 100 different directions, probably millions of different directions. So you can take something like plastic or glass, you can rough up the surface, and that basically breaks it all up, and so light starts shooting all these different ways. To do that with water, something liquid, wet, think like when you take a hot shower, the steam that forms, that's water vapors, and so that looks like a matte effect as well. But to actually achieve this throughout the entire day and something that would stay on your head, neither of those are really an option. We're not going to, sand down our head to make it not shiny, and we can't just add liquids to it because that would just wipe everywhere. Now, that being said, the scalp is an especially unique area of your skin as far as trying to get rid of shine, which is why it's been so difficult. Which is why I've gone through so many different iterations of this. Um, Mattifying different parts of your face and the rest of your skin is not that difficult. The reason why the scalp is especially difficult is because you have the physical surface problem, the flat, smooth area, which is what the scalp is, and then you do have the wetness problem, which is your own oils that your body produces and sweat and all that stuff. That creates a shine effect as well. And thirdly, because of the smoothness and the flatness of it, it's really hard to make anything stick to it. So you have three major problems to overcome in order to make something stay on your scalp and be matte. And like I said about lotions and moisturizers that absorb into the skin or evaporate, the water in them evaporates. That just reveals the same problem again. And your body never stops producing the oils and the water and everything, the sweat. So you're right back to the same problem. That's why no lotions can really do this. Even if you add powder to a lotion, some sort of powder that would make it mattifying, the fact that parts of the lotion leave and all you'd be left with is powder in your head. If you put some powder directly on your head, like really mash it in, you mixed it with like your scalp's natural oils and stuff, you might be able to achieve that effect for a little bit of a matte effect. But eventually, it would more than likely look just like white powder on your head. Uh, if there was a better solution out there, I wouldn't have even created Zeroshine. There wasn't. So that's why we're here. And the way that Zeroshine is able to achieve this is because it's not a flowing liquid like a lotion. It's not a powder. It's kind of in between. It's like a viscoelastic, colloidal, semi-solid fluid. Really, is what it is. And with that, so it being that way, it addresses these uh, three major problems: the smooth, flat surface problem of the scalp. Um, it solves that problem by sitting on top of, like on the surface and not absorbing into your skin, but it's still porous enough to allow you to sweat and doesn't clog pores and things like that. Two is the wetness factor, which is the sweat and oil on your head. The particles in Zero Shine do absorb those and take them into account. Earlier versions of Zero Shine I made were either so drying that you could sweat as much as you wanted, it wouldn't really affect it. But then people that didn't sweat that much, they were affected differently by it. It would just be too dry in their head. And I've made versions that are have just the right amount of everything when they go on the head. But since some people sweat more, it would get too shiny and liquidy over time. So Zero Shine is just right in that perfect balance area. And the third thing is the difficulty sticking to the scalp. Um, Using the right amount of water to oil ratio, and the mattifying fibers and proteins that I'm using in the rice. Zero Shine has this natural stickiness to it that allows it to stay stuck on your head all day. It stays on my head all day. It's different per person depending on how much you sweat or you're active, swimming, whatever, and how thick you put it on. I put it on really thick. Some people put it on really thin. The ones that put on really thin are going to see the shine come back sooner. And yeah, with this stickiness and this never really a solid state, it is going to, if you like shave your head, you're going to get little hair particles stuck in it. So when I'm electric shaving my head, I have a microfiber towel next to my sink, and I'll just wipe any Zero Shine off my head first, then shave my head. And sometimes I go in reverse accidentally. I didn't wash the yesterday's Zero Shine out of it, and I'll go and shave my head, and I'll get stuck in there, and then I'll just wipe all that off and then reapply Zero Shine. So even though I don't consider Zero Shine to be a lotion per se, it doesn't mean it's not a moisturizer. Almost all the moisturizers out there, all the lotions, they all have oils as a part of one of the elements, and the oils are there because they're hydrophobic and they keep the moisture that your skin's constantly producing, all the water your body's constantly evaporating off the skin. It keeps it locked in, not completely locked in, but stops it a little bit to where your skin does feel moisturized. So yeah, this Zero Shine acts the same way. That's not really a hard thing to achieve. The hardest thing to achieve is what we've been talking about this whole time, is the mattifying effect. There's thousands of products out there that are lotions and moisturizers that claim to be matte, but they're not, which is, again, why I had to create this. If you don't like that it's sticking to your head, you don't like that when you shave stuff gets stuck in there, then this just isn't for you. This is really for people that are sick of nothing getting rid of the shine. This was to be the anti-shine atomic bomb and just be the most mattifying thing ever, that was my intention. I mean, that's why I called the product Zero Shine. So that's who that's for. If that's not for you, then yeah, you stick with the lotions and the other moisturizers that are out there. There's plenty of them. And so yeah, the whole point of this video is for me to clarify for anyone that's thinking about getting it what it actually is, because I don't want people, for both our sake, to be buying something and you have a different expectation of what it can actually achieve and what it's like wearing it every day. I personally wear it every day. I put it on my face too, so I love it. But for people that want some sort of a much thinner application, something that would absorb into the skin, this just isn't for you. But yeah, thanks for watching, and have a great day.